Hello, children. Let us continue the lesson, The Making of a Scientist, where we were seeing how that Ebride, the child Ebride, he turned into a great scientist. And there we also see the role of his mother, how whatever efforts or the different efforts what she did in order to enhance her son's talent. So we saw in the previous part that he went on collecting the butterflies, and altogether nearly 25 different species of butterflies he collected, and that was means only those many species were available there in his locality, and after that he was bored of doing that, is he did not feel like collecting the butterflies. So at that stage, his mother provided him with a book on the monarch. So that is one of the species of the butterflies found there. And there at the end of the book, uh, Dr. Frederick Urquhart, he had urged the readers to tag the butterflies there in this area. That is, tag the butterflies and then uh, send those after the duration of a particular duration. When they find those butterflies, those tagged butterflies, he asked people to send the tags to him. So for that is, he went on collecting the same thing. He was chasing the butterflies and tagging them and all, as a scientist was there within him, and he willingly or happily he did it with a lot of curiosity, with a lot of energy and all. So at one point of time he felt that a scientist within his mind. So he thought that simply chasing the butterflies will not be fine. So he started raising a flock of butterflies. That was his next step. He started raising the butterflies there at his basement, and then when those butterflies, those caterpillars became the adult butterflies, then he used to tag the the wings of the butterflies, and then let them go. So, and then he went on doing it. He enjoyed. Then again at a point of time, once again he lost his interest. Right? So a question can be framed here, like after collecting 25 species of butterflies, what was his next step? Okay, so what he did after collecting, now uh, he just lost interest, and then what he started doing? Okay, that means he started raising the butterflies, no, and then he lost interest in that also, and then further ahead, uh, what did he do? And we learn a lesson from Ebride's life story, that he was a very curious child with a lot of determination, and one important thing with him was that he had uh, an inspiring mother. She used to uh, keep on inspiring him. So then about this Ebride, when he reached the 7th class, he took part in a science fair, and there he lost. He did not win. And then he thought, thinking that he was not disheartened to that extent. He started thinking that why he was or why his work was not recognized, or why he did not win, and what was the reason behind the winning of the others project. Fine. So he realized that the winners, they had tried the real experiments, and that is why he understood that particular point, and he thought that he can win only if he try with the real experiments. Then only he could get the prize. So that competitive spirit was there within Ebright. So then again the different ideas he had related to doing something different, that would give him a name. Okay, that or his work would be marked by others. Okay, so he wanted that recognition, he wanted to be recognized. So he talked about it to Dr. Urquhart, and this is how suggestions, he got the suggestions so that he would carry ahead his experiments. And you could see that when he presented his experiment, no, presented his work there in the science fair when he was in class 7, then his work was not the winning work, did not win the prize. Then he started working hard, and when he was in class 8th grade, so once again he tried a different thing, that was the reason of the viral disease, the cause of the viral disease that used to kill nearly all the monarch caterpillars every few years. So the next year when he took part in that science project, okay, he was victorious. His work was recognized, and this is what he wanted, the recognition. So what was the there under the basis he worked was the viceroys, they look like monarch because birds don't like the monarch butterflies. Okay, so if they look like monarch butterflies, then the birds would not eat them. So here Ebright's project was to see whether in fact birds would eat monarch, or some other reason is there behind their reducing of the numbers. And then he found that the starling would not eat ordinary bird food. It would eat all the monarch it could get. And this project was placed first in zoology division, and he got third overall in the country science fair. A great recognition he got. Further ahead, that is the next year, in the second year in his high school, he began the research that led to his discovery of the unknown insect hormone. And then this study led to the or gave birth to the theory on the life of cells. He just tried to think on the topic, or behind the reason that behind the reason of the existence of the tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa. So everyone assumed that it was just for the you could say beautification, just ornamental. Okay, but Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. He said that surely there is some reason. And when here Ebright, along with his other counterpart, when his other, along with his other student, when he started working on it, he just found that the spots were producing a hormone that is very important for the butterfly's full-fledged development. And again his work was ranked first in the country fair, and he got an entry to the international fair. He got the entry, international science fair. And here, because of this recognition, because of his effort, now he got a chance to work during the summer in the entomology laboratory of the Walter Reed Army Institute of Research. Again he continued with his advanced experiments on the topic, on the same topic, that is monarch pupa, and this time he got the first place at the international science fair. And then once again he got a chance to work in the army laboratory during the summer. So then further ahead he went, he tried with one more difficulty level. That is the next step was he grew cells from a monarch's wing in a culture and showed that the cells could divide and develop into normal butterfly wing scales only if they were fed the hormone from the gold spots. So if they get their diet or the dose from those gold spots, yes, they could develop. The development will continue. So this person again went back to the laboratory of the Department of Agriculture and he did more work on the hormone from the gold spots, and he was able to identify the hormone's chemical structure. So what is it comprised of? And then he got the idea for his new theory about cell life. It came while he was looking. How he got the idea? While he was looking at X-ray photos of the chemical structure of a hormone. So again one question here. When did he get the idea for his theory about cell life? When did he get the idea? So he get the idea for his new theory when he was looking at the X-ray photos of the chemical structure of a hormone. Okay, then again after 1.5 years, this thing took place, no? So he did not stop there. Then when he saw those photos, so what further he did? Now he started working on the blueprint of its DNA of the cells. So what is DNA? Another question can be raised here. Here the last 2-3 lines, if you go through, you'll get the answer. What is DNA? It's a substance in the nucleus of a cell that controls the heredity. It determines the form and function of the cell. Okay, so in other words, he stated that DNA is blueprint for life. That great research he did, that conclusion he came to. So Ebright and his college roommate James R. Wong worked all that night drawing pictures and constructing plastic models of molecules, etc., in order to explain this theory. Explain the theory of cell, explain the theory of existence of DNA, etc. So no one who knew him, that is surprising, no one who knew him. Richard Ebright graduated from Harvard with highest honors. So all this he achieved, this position he achieved, these merits or certificates he got because of that curiosity which he had and because of the hard work which he did. So again he started continued his experiments to test his theory, and then a big step towards understanding the process of life. That was a big step. And his experiment would also lead to new ideas for preventing some types of cancer and other disease. So his experiments even worked so well, or were played an important role in the treatment of some certain diseases. So all these things became possible just because he was very curious. He was a curious person. He did not give up. He was interested in science from the very beginning, if you see. That is when he was collecting those butterflies, catching those butterflies. So from that time onwards, he was interested in science. He became a champion debater, a public speaker, and a good canoeist, an all-round outdoors person. Ebright is an expert photographer, especially of the nature and the scientific exhibits. In high school, he was a straight A student. Straight A student. Because learning was easy, he turned a lot of his energy towards the debating and Model United Nations Club. He also found someone to admire, Richard A. Okay? And Richard was the perfect person for him that time. He had accepted, agreed to it. He said that Richard, because of the Richard, his mind could open to the new ideas. So from from every example, from every page in this chapter, we could see that it was possible for him because he was interested in science. So he was, you could say that one of the ingredients in making of a scientist was the curiosity. First rated mind, curiosity, all these things were there. And it's also mentioned towards the last paragraph, if you see. So frame the questions from the lesson, and then that is from inside the lesson, and then write down their answers in your copy. So thank you, children.